How you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're living life well, and I hope you're having an enjoyable experience. The life you live is limited and time constrained. With an unlimited amount of time and unlimited willingness, surely you would know everything. Surely you would be able to become the being that is the computer. Computers run the world. Computers are the most powerful things in existence. Computers have the processing power greater than our brains ever could. But yet, the human is still superior in so many ways. And so with the rise of AI and artificial intelligence, it's becoming increasingly obvious that while yeah, sure, AI can replace things, it's a tool. It's a really advanced tool, and so I've researched this, I've looked into this topic, and that is the credibility of which I have accrued. So AI, how it functions is that basically it takes a data set, some amount of information, we'll say, hey, it's a book, and a book's train you up. A data set trains this bot up. This bot gets smarter. But it can't think for itself. It can only look at the patterns. So it's basically a human trapped in a box with just one book. That is the only reference of mind for that one individual. That is the only reference of mind for the bot. So you give the bot a bunch of pictures of dogs. You show it a cat, it'll say, "What the heck? I don't know what that is." It's the same thing as when the Europeans met the people in South America and North America. They're like, "What the heck is this? I did not expect to find this here." And so, yeah, think about it. The world we live in is changing. Now, artificial intelligence is really something that is a tool. The applications of it are not very sufficient to replace humans. Now, what I really see it being used in is writing. It's a really good tool for writing because you can give it so much text. However, it can write better than any human ever could, but yet it still lacks the emotional depth. I, myself, can still write better than it. Sure, it can write pretty darn good, but if you're looking at on a scale of this or this, I am up here. Artificial intelligence is down here. You see that gap? They're going to try to close that gap over time. They're going to try to close it to where eventually, oh no, they're going to overtake us. And artificial intelligence will be better. But that's inconceivable. That's improbable. This is highly unlikely to happen in our lifetimes. With the pace of technology and the growth of society, firms and companies are slow to adapt to change, okay? Self-checkouts, okay? They were invented pretty much instantly after the computer was used, and yet they have not been utilized widely. Now, they were starting to replace people with these self-checkout machines now, which is strange because it ends up costing more overall to do self-checkout for the company, but I don't know. Maybe they know some, I don't. So really, just because a technology is developed doesn't mean it's, gonna be utilized, even if it seems useful or seems good. They have a variety of reasons for not adopting it. One of them could be bugs, okay? Think about it for a lawyer or a judge or a scientist or an engineer. Mistakes, errors, bugs, usually those can be, it's like this. It's pointed. Usually with your peers, you can get it nice and flat to where there's no point. It's nice and flat. With artificial intelligence, it can make a whole project. The human can look over it. It looks right, but it's not. It's wrong. It's not going to work. It's not going to function. It's not designed very well. And so I don't think that we can trust robots in designing things for us, because simply they don't have the talent to consider all the different factors, all the different facets. We can't get AI to draw a three-dimensional map. If they can't draw a three-dimensional image, then it's impossible for them to go into actually designing anything at all. Because, they can make 2D images all day long, but that's not the actual design. Now, maybe they make schematics or whatever, and you're like, oh, they've made it. But they gotta make it three-dimensionally, because that is how it's actually constructed. And if they draw it 2D, they might draw it with wrong proportions, wrong physics, wrong yada yada yada. They're probably gonna mess up, is what I'm trying to say. And there isn't really a data set to go look at and read for these skills either. Problem solving, how do you get a machine which is basically a problem solver because it uses ones and zeros? How do you get a machine like that to be able to do more than ones and zeros? Now, quantum computers have been developed. These are pretty cool. They're pretty fascinating. I really like them. And I hope that we can get them real good and get it to work, because potentially with the quantum computers and their quanta being used to power them, I don't really know how they work. Maybe we can get it better than ones and zeros. Now, the 1 and 0 system was actually made by some guy in the 1800s, before computers were even developed. It was made by some person. I don't remember the name of the person, but it was some kind of math, binary math. It was really cool, fascinating thing to learn about, and very interesting topic. And so with the development of, quantum computers, quantum physics, and that being explored more, I really believe that quantum physics and quantum computing could be the future. Now, it's very, very expensive. You have to have superconductors, which, if you don't know what that is, essentially it's a metal that's been cooled a lot. And since it's been cooled so much, essentially the electricity flows through it with zero loss. The power lines you see outside are losing power. That's why there's so much insulation on them. And it's whenever you touch a light bulb and it's warm. The warm is the heat dissipating off. If all of it was being dispersed into light evenly, it would be cool to the touch. You could touch it. It would be room temperature. That would be really, really good. Room temperature superconductors. That could enable so much in terms of computing. But quantum computers are going to be the future, because really, they're new. But are they the future? I mean, how good are computers going to need to be? Now, we're always going to be looking for better, bigger, greater, grander, splendider things to enjoy. Computing powers increase so much, so much, so much. And to be honest, I don't really know what we're going to do with all that computing power, because we have to develop things to actually use it for. Like, what are we going to use it for? Now, I think, personally, we should be using it to comb through images of the stars, images of the sky. I don't know what sort of program we could use, but we could devise a program that searches through all the images of skies and is constantly scanning all the time, because we have a bunch of things that are basically looking at the sky at once, but they're only looking at, this portion of it, a small portion. When the whole sky is like this, they're looking at that much. They're looking at a really small angle of it. And so that is very important that we are looking at everything, because I really think the universe and physics is always something that will be a future in there for. Mathematics will always have a future. Will English have a future? I'm going to say yes. Art always exists. Art is always good. Art is always appreciated. Art is something we all love to do. And be creative, okay? I'm going to tell you guys, I need you to be creative. I need you to think things through. I need you to have a brain. I need you to look at ideas and problems and try to discuss them and solve them with your peers. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you.